Hello there and welcome back to Szpakowo. So after the hive of activity that was October, I'm expecting a slightly quieter November and, to be honest, December, January, February. We might even squeeze all of that into this episode depending on what activities we find to do. We can start planning our sales for the winter, so our dairy products, our bakery products, our animals, so our cows are going to be sold at some point in the next few months, and then we can plan getting our horses and the new field that we're going to buy just over in the distance there. So let's start off this month by taking a look at, first of all, our cows. So they're doing okay for food. They are starting to fill up on milk though, so we're probably going to have to sell some of that milk directly. Let's take a look at our milk here. Where is it? Milk is, wow, we've got 33,000 euros of milk, and that's not including the bottled milk. So let's see what else we have here. We have cheese. Not quite a whole pallet of that yet. We've got butter. Yeah, so take a look at our productions. We've got plenty of milk left in there. We could use another dairy, really. It would be handy if we had two of these rather than just one. Just look down at these recipes again. So cheese is 3 milk to 2 cheese. Okay, that's why it's so slow. I guess it takes time to... Is it curdle? Is that the word I'm looking for? To curdle into cheese. I think so. And our butter. Yeah, we've got almost 1 pallet of milk. How are our bakeries doing? So we've got 2 pallets of bread spawned on the spawn point for each, and then 2.5 there, 2.7 there. So we should have about 10 pallets of bread to sell by the time sell time comes around. And then what else are we going to have to sell? We're going to have that silage to sell, and we're going to have the fresh patch of grass, which is also going to turn into silage. So that's going to be 38,500, so it's 77,000 litres of silage. So it's going to be roughly double what the silage is, what the max value for the silage is right now. So it's going to be another 20,000. So yeah, I think we're going to have a fairly profitable few months. If we look at our cows, they're going to be sold in 4 months when they're 30 months old. So they are 30 of them. They're going to get us 45,000. So we're going to be able to afford the land. Now, how much do horses cost? Let's take a look at our animal dealer. Grey horses are 500 each, so we're looking at 10 of those. And yeah, you only have the option to buy baby horses. So we will be selling those, and I think they're going to be sold at 9 months. Is that right? 7 months. Okay, so we're just going to have to take care of those for 7 months, which is fine. And then maybe we can look at buying the greenhouse for the enoki mushrooms as well. Maybe that's a good allocation of our funds for this year. So let's start by offloading the milk. Where's it going to go to? It's going to go to the dairy. Where is the dairy? I'm hoping it has a trigger on the map. It does have a trigger on the map. Good. Okay, so we're going to have to do 3 trips over to the dairy because we have 24,000 litres, and I think our tank only holds, I think it's 7.5. So we're going to have to do, yeah, more than 3 trips to the dairy. So we'll hook up to the tank here, and I will continue with this and get it taken care of, and I will see you once we're done. Okay, so we're approaching the dairy with our last load of milk. We do have a little bit left in the cow barn, but I'm going to put that into our dairy. There's only, I think there's like 2,000 litres left in there or something like that. It's not going to fill up again by the time the cows are sold. However, they will be having calves before they're sold. So the milk will start building up again eventually. We'll worry about that when the time comes. For now, we've made around 26,000 from the milk that we sold, which is absolutely fantastic. We really needed that little cash injection. And I'm thinking, should we buy the horses this month? They're 500 each, and we need 10 of them, so that's 5,000 euros. Now, what I was also thinking when it comes to the VIP orders is that I don't know if it requires animals to be at 100% health. If it does, we're going to have a problem because we don't currently have a way to get the horses to 100% health and productivity because we're lacking at root crops. So I think I'm going to test it out. We're going to get the 10 horses. They've obviously got their oats and their hay to munch on, so they're going to be at 95%. And if they don't sell when they're 7 months old, then we obviously know that it is necessary for them to be at full health. So 10, we'll buy those. Now, I have absolutely no idea how to care for the horses. So let's take a quick look at their stats in here. So their health is 0, their cleanliness is 100. So I think you have to brush them to keep up their cleanliness. You have to ride them to, I guess, keep up their fitness and their daily riding, but I don't know how much you have to ride them. And then their health is based on their food, and their puberty is based on their age. Okay. So I think they're probably going to be okay for the first month, although I actually don't know. I'm going to take this line contract because that's an easy 5,000 for us. I won't do it just yet. I just wanted it in my list of things to do. We don't have anything else. We have a small soybeans contract, but I'm not doing that. Yeah, I meant to take that before I started delivering the milk, but I forgot. Okay. So, how does this work? Okay, so you can ride them. Well, I have to ride 10 horses every day. How do I know when they're fit? So I'm at 56% riding, 43% cleanliness. So maybe you have to ride them until they're not clean anymore and then clean them. Because I don't see an option to clean them. So if I get the help menu up, it tells me how I'm doing with the riding. Okay, that's really helpful. So I don't have to keep jumping off to check in the animal menu to see how they're doing ride-wise. Okay. And you can jump with them as well. Oh, very cool. Yeah, so if they are cantering, you can jump with them. Oops, not meant to run into the other horses. Okay, let's get this horse ridden up to 100%, and then I just want to see and demonstrate the cleaning, because I think that's the only other thing that we need to do. I wonder if I can jump out of the horse pen. Oh, I actually can. That's pretty cool. And I wonder if running across the fields when they're planted actually destroys the crops. That's cool, you can jump out of the horse pen and go back in. Okay, it's good to know because I didn't want to run circles around the horse pen, so I can actually take the horses out of the pen, which is fantastic. Okay, so it appears that we need to buy a horse brush. I mean, that would make sense, but I would have thought that the pasture would have had one. So let's search for brush. There we go. We need to buy the horse brush. So then I guess it is going to be... There it is. So do you... Oh, which... There we go. Is that Fantasia? No, it's not. Where's that dirty horse gone? There it is, over here. Well, these are going to take a fair amount of maintenance. Is Fantasia clean? Yes. Okay, perfect. So, we know how horses work, then. I guess the next thing to do is to ride and brush the other 9. So, I will get this done, and I will see you in a bit. Okay, I think I've ridden all the horses. I know this horse over here is not dirty, but I think that's Fantasia. Yeah, that's Fantasia. I already cleaned her before I realised it's a better idea to ride them all and then clean them all. So, and by the way, I had way too much fun doing that. I don't know if I squeezed it all into the time lapse, depends how long the time lapse ended up being. But yeah, that was way too much fun. Anyways, I'm sure the fun is going to subside before long, because I'm going to have to do the same thing every month. So now I have to go around and clean all of the horses, so I will do a quick cut to when I'm done. Okay, I think all the horses are clean. Let's just jump into the menus and take a quick look. It's easier to check them from here than to keep running up to them. So yeah, the horses are all clean, so that is then taken care of for this month. And while it was fun, that was a considerable amount of effort, so we're gonna have to do that for the next 6 or 7 months. Thankfully it is winter, so there's not too much else to do. I'm just going to switch off the triggers again because yeah, I don't need those anymore. Okay, so next up, let's jump in our tractor. Let's go take care of the lime for that contract, and that'll get us another 5,000 euros. And then I think we might look at buying the enoki mushroom warehouse. I don't remember how much the medium-sized one is. We will take a look at that once we get back from... Okay, so we're over at this field with the lime. I picked up 4 extra bags. We're definitely not going to need them for this job, but I figured I may as well just grab hold of them and we can take them back to our farm afterwards. I don't know if we'll be able to do this whole field on one spreader full. There was 1900 litres in the spreader, and I don't remember how much that will last. This is quite a long field, although once we've been up this side of it, I'm sure we can go back down the other side on either the minimum or the next minimum working width. So yeah, it's not going to take too long at all. It's not worth doing a time lapse for, so I will just skip through to when we are complete. Okay, so that is the line for that field complete, and yeah, we didn't really use that much at all. We used about 1400 litres, so we didn't need to buy any extra, but that's okay. It's not that expensive, and it's always good to have it handy. So let's jump into the menu. May as well collect our contract while we're on our way back. So there. Oh, is it not done? Wait. Did I just line the wrong field? No, I did line the right field. That was the field I lined, wasn't it? Let's go back. What happened there? Because if I tried to lime this field, it says I don't have access, which makes sense. I limed that field. Why is it saying it's not complete? With this contract is just complete it and credit myself the money, because it's pretty obvious to me that that is complete. Yeah, so how much was the contract for? It was 5,480. Let's credit ourselves the money. Add money, 5,480. There we go, we've added that. These developer tools really do come in handy sometimes, because I would just have completely wasted my time with that if we didn't have those. Let's go into the menu again and we'll cancel the contract because it seems to be broken. Let's see if there's any other contracts we can do. So there's not really much, is there? I'm not going back to get the mower to finish that, and I'm not going to do that. If we had the mower, we could have done both of those, but that's okay. I'm not going to go back and get the tools and then come back over here. We don't need the money that badly. I think what we'll do next is skip through to December, take care of our horses for the month, see if there's anything that can be sold. So I will see you there. Okay, so it is December. Before we get started taking care of our horses for the month, let's take a look at the mushroom greenhouses. I meant to do it last month, but I completely forgot after we had lined the field. I got frustrated not being able to complete the contract. So we can get a medium mushroom greenhouse. We could wait another couple of months to get a large one. I am almost tempted to wait and get the large one, and that's simply because I think it produces faster. I think the recipe is faster, and considering that it's low maintenance, doesn't require an input, or it requires just water, I think that's probably the best way to go about it. So let's just do some size comparisons here, because the small one's quite compact. We could put this actually right next to our house. No, I'm not going to put it there. We could put it here. What I was thinking for this land when we eventually do buy it is that we could create a pathway out to this road here. So that would be handy. So maybe we could put the greenhouses kind of like here. And then we can leave an entrance to the field here. And then we can easily fit down there with the tractor to get out to the roadway. I think that works. Let's put it here. And let's go take a look inside. I don't know how these mushrooms work. What do we do in here? No active productions. Storage is empty. So I guess we are going to have to fill it with water. Let's turn off the triggers again. We have to fill it with water, and then it will start producing mushrooms. Okay, let's grab our tractor, and now what are we going to do with this milk? I said that we wouldn't be using the tanker for a while, so we could just leave the milk in there, but now we have a use for the water tank, so that doesn't quite ring true anymore. Okay, so we have... Okay, so we've sold off the milk, and I'm just coming back into the farm with our water tank. So let's get this filled up. Now you can fill it up in the river here, which is absolutely perfect for topping up our mushrooms. Pretty sure you can. Yeah, there we go. We'll just scoop up some river water for our mushrooms. I'm sure they'll absolutely love it. So how much water does this greenhouse take? It takes 4,000 litres. Okay, well then let's start producing enoki, and we may as well just start producing the oysters as well. And then it could be producing both of those. I don't know where the output is for it. There's no output section for it. Anyways, we'll have to figure that out at some point. Let's take care of our horses for the month. So I'll continue with this and I'll come back to you once we're complete. Okay, so I think that is all the horses ridden. Is this one? No, I think this one still needs riding. Yeah. And there's one more there. Wow, this is time consuming. I know there's a mod in Mod Hub that auto rides and brushes the horses. I might entertain that because this was fun for the first month, but I did say I can see myself getting bored of it pretty quick. And yes, that has already happened. So yeah, I think I'm going to download the mod and have a nice little helper automatically take care of the horses. Hopefully it costs a little bit of money as maintenance and it's not completely free, but I don't really want to be doing this every month for the next 7 months. And then I think in one of the future VIP order levels there are 2 sets of horses. Although I suppose you don't have to do all 10 of them at once, do you? You can do 5 at a time. I think that might be the way forward for the next set of horses. I'll download the mod for now and see how it goes. Okay, I think that's all the horses brushed and ridden. Let's just go through and make sure that they are all taken care of. Yep, they are. I don't know why they're only showing 25% fitness. Maybe that's going to take a while for that to go down. However, looking at the food capacity, it looks like they haven't consumed any food, because the total capacity is still up at 20,000, but it would be because we've got the hay in the trigger point. Yeah, so they are eating. I did read in an article they don't eat very much, and that's why. So as soon as the hay's going down, it's being topped up via the trigger point. So yeah, they are eating and consuming food. Okay, what else is on the cards for this month? Let's take a quick look at our cows. We've been paying all the attention to our horses. They're starting to run low on TMR. So let's jump in our tractor and let's top up their TMR. So I think we can empty the TMR mixer and then we can turn on the TMR production again. We can look at restocking it next year. Where's our trailer? It's over here. I'm losing track of where all our tools are. We've got so many at this point. Alright, so let's get our TMR topped up for the cows. And what will we do after that? Let's take a look at prices and see what's happening here. So we've got decent amount of mushrooms there. That's good for less than a month of production. And they're not using that much water either. Fantastic. Taking a look at our stock levels. So we can sell the bread. I think we'll sell the bread after we've topped up the TMR for the cows. We'll take that over to Spactrans. And then what else is there? The silage isn't quite ready to go just yet. And that's really about it. So let's top up the TMR, sell the bread, and then we'll take stock of where we're at. I will see you in a bit. Okay, so we're over at Spactrans with our bread, trying our best to avoid the crazy drivers driving on the wrong side of the road. Let's get this sold off. Only 10,000 litres this year. So yeah, the lack of crop to produce flour and subsequently bread from definitely showed up this year. But anyway, we've just sold it all off, 38,000 euros or so. And next year we should definitely have a full year of producing because we have enough wheat in our silo to produce flour and bread for the whole year. So let's get back to the farm. Our balance is 42,000, and what I think I'm going to do is skip through to January and see what else we can sell. I think the only other thing we have to sell this year is our silage and then our cows in March. So I will see you in January for selling our silage. Okay, so I skipped through to February. Wasn't really much to do in January. I did download the mod I was talking about and it is working perfectly. So if we look at our horse pasture here, each horse is now worth 783. They're all fully taken care of. However, this care costs me 2,750 per month for 10 horses. So our bank balance is going down pretty quickly because of that. I wasn't expecting it to cost that much, but that's what it is. It saves us looking after the horses because, like I said, riding them was a little tedious. Let's take a look at our crop prices. What's the only other thing we have to sell this month? We have silage to sell, and that is at its maximum price, so we could take that to be sold. We could also take the enoki mushrooms, so Spactrans for the mushrooms, direct sell point for the silage. Where do the enoki mushrooms need to go for the VIP order? They need to go over to Spactrans. Okay, so we can load up and sell the silage at direct sell point, and then by the time we've done that we should have 2 pallets of enoki and 1 pallet of oyster mushrooms ready to take over to Spactrans. That will complete the VIP order. And let's just take a quick look to see where these have actually spawned, because I still didn't manage to figure it out. Okay, so they're around this side. At least we know where they are so that we know where to place the next greenhouse when we do eventually get it. Okay, so over to our tractor. Let's fire up the engine. We'll switch out the pallet fork for the bale spike. We've got a fresh tank of diesel and we are fully repaired. I did that in between December and now. So let's load up the bale spike and let's get loading these bales up and get them sold off. one other quick thing we're going to let's take a look at is our cows. They've had baby cows. Should we go take a look at them? I almost don't want to, because 60 cows in that little barn is going to look like quite the gong show. Oh, it doesn't look too bad. I guess the baby cows aren't represented one-to-one. Neither of the actual cows, actually. Anyways, back to our tractor. Let's get these bales loaded up, and I will see you over at the direct sell point to sell them off. Okay, so coming back to you here, I've loaded all the bales. I'm trying to head over to the direct sell point, but I'm not able to traverse the road because of the snow. The tractor's literally getting stuck, so I fast forwarded time a bit just to see if the snow's going to melt, but it doesn't look too promising. So what I think I'm going to have to do is maybe take the bales to one of the alternative sell points. So let's take a look at our silage and see what the alternatives are. So it's 246 over at Derek. Katie, it's 234. So it is quite a bit less. The biogas plant doesn't work. And Spactrans is 238. Yeah. I don't know what to do. If we look at the weather, we're not getting any real decent weather until March. I think the best bet is to take them to the Katie sell point if we can reverse down this road here. It seems to be easier to traverse once you've traversed it at least once. So yeah, I'm going to try and swing a U-turn here, and we'll just take it to Katie sell point, because it will have literally taken me all day and probably a whole tank of diesel to get up to the direct sell point. And even if we look up the road there, it goes up not a steep hill but a fairly steady incline, and the tractor was struggling even on the flat ground, so I don't think it would have made it. Okay, here we are over at the sell point. We'll just drive over to where the bales are offloaded. We'll sell it off. We'll sell them off here. When we get back, hopefully we can take the mushrooms to be sold as well. So let's get these unloaded. Okay, so that is 18,800, 19,200. That's not bad. Let's get ourselves reversed around here. I'm just going to switch the engine off for a second. We'll take a look at our stock of enoki. We have 2,000 of those, and then 1,000 of oyster mushrooms, so we can get those sold off for an extra few thousand. And what else do we have? We could take the butter over to Spactrans as well. That's almost at its peak value. It's not that far off, so maybe yeah, we'll do that as well. Yeah, that's the only other thing we have. Back over to the farm, we'll load up both sets of mushrooms, load up the butter, we'll get it over to Spactrans, and we'll get it sold off. Okay, so we are approaching Spactrans. We've got 1,000 litres of oyster mushrooms, 1,000 litres of butter, 2,000 litres of enoki mushrooms, and we're about to sell them off. I have to say, as much as I found the snow frustrating because I couldn't deliver the silage to the direct sell point, the way it behaves in FS25 is actually really cool. I feel like it's much more of a hindrance to your operation than it was in FS22. Especially if there's a slight incline or if you have a heavy trailer, it's pretty much impossible to navigate some of the side roads. But yeah, very cool snow mechanic in FS25. Let's get this product sold off. So there we go, we've got that sold, and then was I just too far out of the sell point? Yeah, there we go. Okay, so we got about 5,000 for that load. Every little helps with our expensive horse care that's happening right now. Anyways, this is a great place to leave this episode, so thank you as always for watching. I hope you're enjoying following along. If you are, of course, please do give the video a like and consider subscribing to the channel, and I will hopefully see you in the next episode. Until then, bye for now.